No episode.
Welcome back to the Soundcheck Podcast.
Hey, can you be a little bit more excited about it?
Welcome back to the Soundcheck Podcast. We are back with another episode for your ears to be pleasured with.
That was better.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'll get better at that. I won't mess it up next time. I promise, sir. So, what do you want to talk about?
Can you introduce me?
Okay. How about you introduce yourself and stop pretending like I have to do everything?
Hey,
carry
guys.
this podcast.
Is the Soundcheck Podcast with myself, Trey Scheckschneider, and Michael Ringquat. Ringwet.
Hey, this is oh, I need your help.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold the bottle. I need you to open it.
Okay. All right.
My boy.
So anyway, if you heard our first one, we talked a little bit about who we are and what we're doing. And so like we said, we're going to shamelessly plug our band. And so this first podcast is going to be all about the TWT. And for some of y'all that don't know who that is the Weekend Transit.
Yeah. I hope you guys are okay with that. And also, if you are familiar with the old Weekend Transit, throw that out the window. It's not us anymore. We reloaded. You know, we changed a few members. We changed our sound, style, everything. And truthfully, I feel like we are light years ahead where we were before. Thankful to you. Well, you are one of those. You are one of those reasons.
Oh, hey, look. Let me ask you that question. So, being how do you say that? Like an original member of the Weekend Transit. Like, what is the change from the original Weekend Transit to now?
The change? Well, aside from the obvious ones like, members and whatnot, I think
because I also want to say old Weekend Transit was good. Like, people enjoyed it, and I very much enjoyed it. Steps. Shout out to my boys doing Steps. If any of y'all remember that classic.
A part of me is still a little bit sad because I don't even remember how to play that song, and I have no recording of it anymore.
That is sad.
But to answer your question, what has changed? I feel a lack of naivety, an understanding of, not necessarily what it takes to become, the best, but an understanding of how to reach an audience and to cater to an audience. I mean, back then it was kind of more about just like, we want to be in a band, we want to play music, let's just do it. And we would play, 4 or 5 original songs that were, one was like pop punk, one was post-hardcore, one was alternative. We didn't really know what we were doing.
The other 8 songs were all covers.
And the other 8 or 50 songs were all covers. And then one of them was, Monument by A Day to Remember. Then one of them, on the other hand, was Reinventing Your Exit by, or An Exit, whatever, by Under Oath. And then A Boy Brush Red by Under Oath. We should have just been an Under Oath cover band, if we're being honest. I would have threw down to that. But the point is, what were we doing, People, I've actually had somebody approach me recently and was like, he said, man, yeah, I know who y'all used, I've heard y'all before, but, back then y'all were kind of just, whatever, y'all played mostly covers. And he said, but what y'all are doing now? So I'm listening to y'all's 2 singles. I love y'all singles. Y'all stuff is great now. So it's kind of really nice to hear that, we did grow from where we were before, naive and just not really having any type of understanding of who we were as a band, as musicians, and, what our goal was other than just let's play music.
Right. And so, I mean, not just that's a huge step into a more business-oriented band as well. I mean, I think everybody sees that. I see it just being, a member and seeing the stuff that we all put into it. But, like, as far as, like, I don't mean to be that guy. I'm sorry. Got to put my mic closer to my face so y'all can hear me. But not to be that guy, but to try to, like, pinpoint a genre. Is there a huge difference in the genre? Or is it just more complex and intricate than it used to be?
When it comes to original, stuff, yeah, yes, yes. On actually, yeah, on both things. Because as far as complexity and intricacy, I mean, I hate to sound, braggadocious or whatever, but I learned how to play guitar a lot more than what I knew back then, and I learned how to structure, good rhythms versus good leads and stuff like that. And the writing process, especially with the guys helping out and everything, the writing process was light years ahead of where it used to be. It wasn't just that, hey guys, I wrote a riff, let's use it. It was like hours and hours of trying to piece together, a sensical riff that had a story to tell. It wasn't just like, oh, that sounds cool. It was more like, no, this riff tells a story. This riff feels like something more than just I strung together these notes that are in the same key,
Right. Yeah.
So, and as far as the sound overall, yeah, it's not, a far cry from what we used to write, but it's definitely a more innovative style, I guess, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, for sure. My bad. So, we're gonna go ahead and
Well, hold on. Let's not talk. Let's not just pretend like you're not a part of the weekend
Okay.
transit. And also, I feel like you probably have quite an opinion on old weekend transit versus new weekend transit as well, since you have known, you knew the weekend transit before you joined it. So
Right.
let me ask you, what are your thoughts on old weekend transit versus new weekend transit?
I mean, I think you hit the nail right on the head. I mean, to me, it was just more of like finding ourselves. Now that I joined, whenever we first started, we were gonna try to be a pop punk band originally, and
Just couldn't do it.
that
man.
really didn't end up working out. And then we found out that Casey can scream and all that good stuff. So we were just like, well, let's just meet in the middle in between pop punk and metal and just be emo. You know what I mean?
If that's what you want to call it.
That's exactly what I'm gonna call it to the day I die.
That's fine.
Ooh.
I don't agree with it, but that's fine.
But yeah, and I mean, because you had your songs like Steps, which was pop punk, right?
It was pop punk. I mean, it was honestly, you know what that song used to remind me of? It used to remind me of like some cheesy, like kids movie band that wasn't a real band. They were
Like
just
House
in a
of
kids
Rock
movie.
or School of Rock or something
I
like
think
that.
School of Rock had better material than we did.
Nah, Fireglow.
Fireglow was good, but our old singer actually wrote a lot of that song, so truthfully, it was better than anything I had written at the time.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I'm excited about where it's going, and I'm so glad that y'all asked me to be a part of it.
We're
Big
semi
things
glad.
are coming. You know what I mean?
We're semi glad that you're here.
Yeah, I feel that. Anyway.
So actually, we want to do something that's further our shamelessness, and we do have 2 singles out right now. One of them, which is our first one, being "Letting Go," we released late 2018, and our second one that we released earlier this year. We want to know, because we go back and forth about which one we like more versus the other, and I'm gonna hold my opinion. I'm not gonna say anything yet.
Well, I also want to say too, the reason we ask that of you guys is because it's a constant like, not a fight, but you know what I mean, between us, because both of those songs were it was our first 2 songs we ever written with the Weekend Transit together as a group, and they were 2 very defining songs for us. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm not. I'm
I feel
listening
like
to what you're saying.
I feel like there's like reverb on my voice or something.
No, you're good. You're great.
Anyway,
you
so
sound
yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you. So anyway, it was 2 very defining songs for us whenever we first, like I said, we have a whole pop punk album done that we had written, and we were like, we're going to play shows, we're going to record this, and then we just decided to cut all of it, and then Letting Go formed.
I mean, yes and no. We had a pop punk / easy core / emo / I don't even know what you call it.
It was
It was the same problem we had before.
And so, like what I'm saying is like when Letting Go came out, we were like, that's really what the deciding factor was for us. I think was when we wrote that song. We were like, this is it. This is what we want to do. This is our bread and butter.
But you know,